Go.
And we're live
Right, we're good.
only on your channel today.
Oh, okay.
So exclusive show coming to.
Well, here we go. Welcome to Command AI, I guess. Introduction of the name drop.
Yeah, pretty cool. Did you come up with it yourself, or like you commanded AI to do it?
A little back and forward with AI, of course. Gosh, are you kidding? An AI show that we don't constantly use AI for everything.
I don't know. Probably, yeah. But I'm pretty happy with the name. I just found the old name that we had. Vibin out or something like this.
Oh, vibing out. Yeah.
Command AI is much better, I would say.
Cool. Good.
Cool.
Well, just a bit of backstory then. We've, of course, been doing this like on and off for the I don't know, last month or so and whatever. And it's always revolved around kind of AI design and development and whatever. And it's just been trying to figure out where it's landing. And this feels, for me, it feels right that I was already putting out and retweeting and writing posts about AI pretty much every single day and lining things up and whatever, and it just feels like an excuse to bring all that into one place, because I don't know about you, especially this week, the AI fatigue is real. Like I woke up at four o'clock in the morning this morning, and there was more stuff, and I'm just like writing these posts and whatever. The fatigue is rough, and I'm passionate about it, and I thought, well, why not bring it all under one? We're going to try and keep this to an hour, 1 hour show where we just talk about AI and revisit the news of the week, so that people can either tune into this, or we can then produce smaller bits of content that reel off of this, or blog posts or whatever it is. So that's kind of where we're at with it, and that's what Command AI is.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I do feel like there are just so much going on, and most people cannot just follow all of that. So if we can put it all in one show,
well, hang on, we're not all there yet. We haven't got the oof, there we go. That's better, isn't it? Gosh, haven't got my YouTube, my hair light, still haven't figured out
how
the YouTube
can you
sound.
Your AI isn't helping with that.
Well, if we weren't so behind, I was going to catch up and just say like what's been going on this week with work and stuff. But I think let's just jump right into the news and go through what we're going to talk about, which is basically, we've got a few points here. Amazon Nova. Yes, Amazon do have an AI. And I've got some exciting news for that, actually. Gemini 2.5 dropped this week, which is an amazing new model. I've just been playing around with it right before this stream. Really good model that Gemini have dropped, Google have dropped. Microsoft teaming up with XAI, or better known as Grok, and hosting that on Azure.
Breaking up with some.
Well, here we go. This is
we have a triangle of love there.
No, not even a triangle.
Well, yeah,
it's four.
It's very complex. Yeah.
Apple teaming up with Anthropic, so a lot of teamwork going on here between parties. Windsurf 8, which is Windsurf, which is the code editor, which my preferred code editor at the moment, which is cool. We'll dig into that, and then finally we'll get into the Figma. I don't know. We'll get into the Figma stuff.
Yeah, I'll cover that.
We'll cover it, but I've been doing my research. I'm up to date. I've been watching a few videos and whatever, and this show will be all about the kind of development side, the design side, and the AI side. And I've been looking into the design side, a little bit of the dev side, but you've got access to it. So we'll
I got access to it. I played with it, and we've been misled. I said so much.
Ooh, what a bombshell! Right, let's get into it. Let's talk about Amazon Nova. So I'm going to try and share my screen over here to show you. Oh my god, I'll share my screen and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Gosh, I hate looking at anything AWS. Can you see my screen? Is that
Yep.
good? Like, look at that. Everything they do is just disgusting. But what they have done is not so disgusting. So I actually don't know the backstory. This is how little impact they've had on the. I probably need to increase this, right?
Yeah, good this way. Yeah.
They have their own generative AI models, and they've got 3 models which they're quite excited about. Again, I'm more than, or 4 actually, but we'll get into why it's only 3. Really quite capable models. Now, I have my Jupyter Chat app, shameless plug here. I wonder if it's even running. No, it's not even running, but here we go. Here, and I just put it in today. And it's not bad. Like, the model is not that bad. You've got 3 models here, basically. You've got Light, Micro, and Pro. Both Pro and Light can kind of they're both multimodal. Well, they can take images. I think they can take video as well. Micro is text-based. But they're actually really, let's get back to here. They're actually really quite capable little models. The context window, which I think is a big thing at the moment, you've got 125K for Nova Micro, Nova Lite, which is 300K, Pro, which is also 300K, and then Nova Premier, which they've not entirely launched it yet, but they've kind of announced it. Quite good little models.
What is the biggest context window we have? Isn't it like 1 million or 2?
It's 1 million, yeah. So, well, just over 1 million. So quite a few models actually support 1 million. All of Gemini does. So these, I mean, it depends what you're using it for. Really, I mean, realistically, for like Nova is really good for chat, like quick responses and like text summarization, translation, really kind of quick stuff. And I'd be curious to use this. So on Jupyter Chat, for instance, again, sorry for the shameless plug, but like I use an AI to just summarize the first query that comes to me and then give me a title for it. I would be tempted to use Nova for something like that, because maybe I can get the pricing up, but the pricing is also quite reasonable as well. Hang on.
Sure thing. I'm also posting on my Instagram for the audience to tune in.
Let's have a little look. Where is all the... All right. Oh no, I know where it is. That's what you get for like having a microphone that you can't prop up somewhere. So, price. Actually, we can go to Jupyter Chat, which is handy, isn't it?
It is.
I've got my special little analytics here that I have for my secret things. This is the price that we're looking at the moment for all of the different models that we support, which I know we'll get into it. Gemini 2.5 Pro is actually quite high. It's still in the kind of quote unquote like free tier of Jupyter Chat, but it is quite high. If we go right down, you got Flashlight. Here we got Nova Micro all the way down here, like
crazy,
barely anything. And this is kind of like obviously a loose, prediction, because tokens are the hardest thing to predict. Where are we looking for? Where's the other ones? Nova Pro here, so still even the Pro one is really quite a reasonable price. And then where's the other one?
Do we know if these are losing, like if, for example, Amazon is losing money on this? Probably, right?
Good shout. Amazon are like not notorious for it, but they have a lot of money to kill. They have a lot of money to spend. So it's no doubt that they're making a loss on something like this, because they made a loss on AWS and now they own half the internet. So their strategy to do that kind of works. But, it's yet to be seen. I'm really curious. The first thing that came into here's some other things here that I haven't looked into, but Nova Canvas,
What
state-of-the-art
is
image
that?
generation there, state-of-the-art
Ah,
image generation, and then state-of-the-art video generation model as well. So these could be quite interesting.
everybody
Um,
is doing that nowadays. So
yeah,
it's like very soon you'll have so many tools to do just the same thing with very
yeah,
little. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that it's interesting because everyone's doing everything, but like you want to kind of niche because you've got Runway who literally just go for video and Midjourney who is just all about images, and they just are amazing for that sort of stuff. However, I think OpenAI kind of proved that with their new image generation model that they can be a bit more, they can do multiple things. And with
Yeah.
was it Sora as well, their video
Yeah.
thing. I watched a great interview, I've forgotten with whom, but he makes music videos with Sora, and it showed
Wow.
its process, his process and stuff like that. And it's I mean, you beg the question as to why he's using AI in general. I think mostly to save money, which is, you know, arguably a bit immoral, but um, the results were incredible. And so all that to be said, like you either stand out or you just, you know, go hard on the text generation stuff. But I don't know, I haven't seen any results from Nova Canvas or Nova Real. But the first thing that came into my mind was, are they going to stick it in Alexa? Because Alexa, although it isn't quite AI, it's kind of the OG kind of, oh, there's a computer that I can talk to it and it can do stuff for me. Not
Yeah.
the OG, but you know what I mean? Like, even it's just voice recognition at the end of the day. But the Alexa brand has just kind of died a
And it's
death, and I thought they
everywhere.
might bring it to that. Yeah. Yeah, so many people have them. I don't know what
Yeah.
the and it's all dished off to AWS anyway. So it's probably a more than capable model. It's just sending and receiving, you know, text to speech or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, interesting stuff. So Amazon has entered the chat, and I have to say, from my brief experience with it using Jupyter Chat, it's not bad. It's not bad. Well, it's yet to be seen what the outcome will be, but yeah.
What is really interesting to me, and I'm like asking myself constantly, is what we started with, that there are so many people, so many companies doing this, and it's so overwhelming. And I'm just like, I want to just use one of them and get it
Hmm.
over with. I
Hmm.
don't want to play with like 50 different models.
Mm.
And I don't know what these companies are hoping for. As a consumer, I really don't want to have like 50 different accounts, and each time that one of them is 5% better, get that. That's
Mm.
why I see myself using Cursor. I do use Cursor, and that's the place where I use Gemini. I don't
Mm.
use Gemini anywhere else. I use it because like I noticed in Cursor it's fast and it's reliable. But when it comes to a chat place, I just use, I have one extra button on my phone, not 10. And I just use that extra button. It's for ChatGPT. I press this, the chat comes up, and I talk to it like constantly. It's my even
Mm.
journal, it's for my idea generation. And if there is another model, interesting. Let's see how these companies try to compete and
Mm.
get
And
a
I
piece
do
of the pie.
I definitely feel your pain. I mean, I have to say, my one button is Perplexity. Wax
Oh
up
wow.
Perplexity, and Perplexity actually integrates with iOS a lot better now. You can send directions, book appointments, and things like this. So it just integrates a little bit better than OpenAI or ChatGPT. Not as good as Siri, obviously, but yeah, Perplexity. I've got a year's subscription to it, so I
I got it
definitely
too.
got there.
Through
Yeah,
that.
we got the
Yeah.
same thing, didn't we? We got the same thing.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I love Perplexity for like research and stuff like that. If I'm doing any sort of research for like LinkedIn posts or things for this, half of my links for the on the show notes are Perplexity, because it just brings together the best kind of notes and whatever. I know ChatGPT can kind of do that, but well, one, I've got a subscription to Perplexity,
Yeah,
so I'm going to use
yeah,
that, and
yeah.
two, I just really enjoy the results. I do need to dig into Perplexity for the search stuff anyway, for projects as well. So let's move on to Gemini, because I produced two videos for Gemini this week,
Yeah.
and if we go to the announcement here, this is the first one here. Now, Gemini 2.5. So they had Gemini 2.0, which was already, if we go to the leaderboard here,
And
whereabouts is it?
I'm just gonna say here, I was confused, honestly. When I saw
Let's
your
go on.
video, I was like, didn't we already have Gemini 2.5? But we had
So
2.0, right?
yeah, so
I'm
you've got the
just, yeah.
experiment model. You've got the
Okay.
experiment model, and they released the experiment model before they released the preview model. So here's Gemini 2.5 Flash preview. So presumably there's 2.0. Where's 2.5 preview? Oh no, experimental. I don't know, but it's starting to get pretty confusing. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
And
have
it's on the top.
experimental, and this was already pretty good. You know, it was a pretty good model. My personal experience with this, I've used it heavily today. It is good. Like, I it's hard to, well, sometimes it's hard to say. So the second video I released was using it in Firebase Studio, and we'll get into that in a second. And I was running into problems, whereas when I was using it in Windsurf, I was just I vibe coded a whole new two features and launched them today in Jupyter Chat. And 2.5 Pro just handled it without a hitch, and it was really good. But that could be because I know the code base more. I know kind of like I can reference files, and you know my knowledge of the code was a lot better, so I might have just got better results. So and this is another point of discussion that's quite difficult. Is it's really hard to pit um, AIs up against each other, and I think I've seen something that might make the next maybe next week, if we get good feedback on this, a way to test different models. Now you kind of want to send them all the same prompt and see how they do, but everything's debatable, and we've kind of missed it this week, and I'll bring it back, but OpenAI had to revert 4.5, I think it was, because they were over generous and
The
whatever. So
glazing.
the glazing,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Did you try the IQ test? Like
no.
ask it, so you would ask it, hey, based on every chat that I've had with you, give me an IQ score. And it would give every single person on earth above 130, which is just
Oh my
like
God.
impossible. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm 140. So I'm just
Yeah.
a tad less stupid than, Einstein. So I'm up there.
Do you know, I don't even know what that's what I'm looking at. I don't even know what IQ I am, but yeah, I mean, it was extra generous.
Yeah.
And they had to roll it back, and I think that's because it's becoming very difficult to really it's just hard to really what's the word I'm looking for? It's everyone's got their own perception on what is good, what is bad. It's just so it's not objective. What's the opposite of not objective? I don't
It's
know.
subjective. Subjective is
Subjective is the word.
yeah.
Yeah, subjective. It's also subjective. Anyway, point is, I've had really good results with 2.5 Pro preview today on a code base inside of Windsurf that I know. So read into that what you will. But it's definitely, I mean, going back to the article here, and I missed something in my video, which is really friggin' exciting, and we'll cover it now. But it is a very, well, it's multimodal for a start. And it can take images, it can take video, massive like million context window, as all of Gemini models are like. But this was supposed to be they were so excited about this, they were supposed to release it at Google I/O and at the end of the month, I think, but they kind of released it obviously as like a preview, and it looks really good. So but they are it just, you speak about not knowing what to use and all the rest of it. This looks like a very all-round capable model. Now, it is one of the more expensive ones, as we saw, or at least it's getting there, for surprisingly, from like Google. But yeah, coding is what they're pushing as well, so it's really good for coding.
I see this example that they are showing. This is very impressive to me, especially.
Do you wanna
I,
do you wanna show
I
your screen?
no, just on your screen, what
No.
you're
Oh,
showing.
okay.
That yeah,
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll get into this. Yeah.
because they these AI tools have this thing called code tool calling, right? What is that
Yes.
exactly? It's
So
referred to it in the context of coding, right?
no, no, no. Tool
In
calling.
general. Okay.
I'm not gonna go on the record here, but mine, because I was literally just looking into tool calling. My understanding is it's almost like it's a side effect to running the command itself. So it's not
Mhm.
specifically coding, but it could just be running like an additional thing. For instance, OpenAI, their search functionality is a technically a tool request to add search into your query, basically.
Mhm.
So I've yet to look into it. I want to look a bit more into it because I need to for a project. But yeah, tool calling is, I don't think it's specifically specific to specific to coding.
Coding. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, but what I see there is pretty impressive because I spent
Yeah.
the weekend, last weekend, I spent 30 hours of vibe coding. Like
Wow.
30 hours of non-sleep, just like going straight to vibe code something I don't know if you've seen it. You can actually search it in a new tab, the no novel.webflow.io.
Mm.
And this is very impressive to me because I was just trying to generate like visuals, and it was so freaking difficult.
Mm. Mm. Well, it's well, fair play for the 30 hours. That's pretty mental.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, let's go on. Maybe I show it
was
later
this?
on and we talk about the code
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
because I just vibe coded like something that is very complex for my level of like understanding of code. And funny thing, at the very end, I gathered all the code, I gave it to ChatGPT, and I said rate it, and it rated 4 out of 10.
There you go. There you go. 4 out of 10. It's a start. Somebody doesn't know how to code.
Honestly, if I show it to you, I bet you won't give it 4. I bet you won't give it 4. it's it's the definition of spaghetti coding. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's continue going. So
Yeah.
basically what you're seeing here is asking to turn that into a code-based representation. So it's written some code that not only draws it but floats it as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we saw the Web Dev Arena score like coming out on top, but this is what is very interesting: video to code. And I don't know if can you hear that? I don't know, but it's
No, I can't hear it, but we can see it.
okay. No worries. I'm waiting to see. Go to video to code capability. I'm thinking this is a video that they've made. Maybe this is something built in After Effects or something like that. But then it can take the video and put it into code, which is amazing.
Wow.
Combining that with the context window being so big, I've seen examples of people putting in videos, people putting documents, basically people putting loads of multimodal sources of information and using it to generate for themselves a test of, so basically for learning and things like that. Like if you've got different bits of information from lots of different sources, you can tell it to test you on it. And this is just I'm low key really intrigued about the learning aspect of AI. I think this is, if it's not already, just because it's not in my wheelhouse right now, you might tell me it's actually huge. I'm surprised I'm not seeing more learning, like things that help you learn, basically built with AI, in tutors and things like that, because I think you can expedite your learning on anything, whether you're a GCSE in school, whether you're in university, just to be able to absorb data and information and test you on it and learn it in a way that's bespoke to you. I think there's a really interesting niche there. Like I say, if it's not already been done, I'm sort of low-key excited
I
about
saw on Twitter Ron Segall, he was vibe coding. I'm not sure with what. Maybe it was Bolt, a learning system for his children to learn English.
There you go.
So
Yeah,
something for So he knows them best, and he knows like how he wants to teach them, and why not make a tool that does all of this? So
yeah. So presumably his base prompt was something along the lines of, "This is their history," or "This is what they know," or "This is how they like to learn." Very visual, very like they like to learn in things like that. You can start to really take the way that you like, because I'm dyslexic, right? So I learn in a very different way, or it takes a lot for me to learn things, and I need to like understand something from multiple different ways before I can then actually like hone in on it and it actually clicks for me. So learning in a traditional way has always been difficult for me. I just never, I'm never ever good at tests. You put me in a test scenario, I suck so much. So like being able to learn in a way that benefits the way that I absorb information and I retain information, it's really, really interesting. So saying that, Gemini, you can go play with it now on Google AI Studio, which is kind of their free. I think you need to sign into it and generate an API key or something, but you can use it here for free, playing around with it, which is quite cool. And if you have Gemini on the app, you actually get the canvas, so you can tell it to write code or produce something, and it will actually display the code to the right sort of thing. So it's like what do you call it, like a live preview of the code that's actually doing it. So, and of course you can do it in Jupyter Chat, little plug there. So the other area, and we touched on it briefly just now, is Firebase Studio. Now I just released a video on this today. This is again a free, I know they're all kind of free, but this is a free vibe coding app built by Google, which has such a I love this interface. I don't know, what do you think, Mr. Design?
Mr. Design, this looks cool.
Mr. Figma,
this looks pretty good.
And it's quite fast. I mean, look at all these different
so you have to choose like the type, like no, you don't. Okay.
You don't. No, you can start with a prompt.
It's
and this is using 2.5. This is newly using 2.5 under the hood. I released a video yesterday, and then literally a few hours later it was like, we're announcing that. Go on.
Click out and inside of that window again, like that. Ooh, that transition. Nice, oh, nice. Now ask AI to make this for you.
in CSS, let's go for it. But yeah, I've recorded this, making this recipe app, which is genuinely an app I want to make. And I had some trouble with it. It's really hard to film videos with this sort of stuff, because people always go for the one shot. What's the one shot success rate of an app? And realistically, again, I find it quite difficult because I'm so technically minded. The curse of knowledge means I'm maybe over prescribing the technicalities of the app, whereas I feel like to get the best out of these vibe coding apps, you do need to be a bit, for lack of a better word, a bit dumber, and just say what you want from like a product and a user perspective, as opposed to it needs to have this, it needs to be integrated with Superbase. And I'll be honest, I'm just not getting the results that I expect from being a technical minded person.
Well, I'm not getting the results as a not so technical person either. I wanted to do over the weekend what I did. My project had like essentially two states, like two sections that had to be animated into one another. And I had a billion issues with it. I just couldn't get it like do what I want to do. I was even like asking in the chat, hey, I want to do this thing. I'm not asking technically, like in a technical language, what is like, how would a developer ask for this? So I would basically try to build up the prompt using the AI and then give it that technical prompt if it was like what I was looking for. But still, I got it working. But the code, I myself would give it 2 out of 10.
Yeah,
about 2,000 lines of code.
Because also you've got these, and I did it yesterday and for another video, and I know where I went wrong with it really. But like I started with a framework because if I was trying to tell it the framework to use, it just kind of wasn't really going with it and whatever. So it's hard really to answer the question, and everyone gets different results every time. Like a lot of these vibe coding people, they'll have like 5 or 6 tabs open to try and one shot to get their result they want really early on, whereas I mean I'm still trying to find my feet with all the vibe coding stuff.
But this looks cool, and once you have it, can you like host it
just that
with them?
So there's a couple of interesting things about it in that you can publish. Obviously,
I see. Yeah.
This integrates obviously very, very well with Firebase's existing functions and features. So I'm not a massive fan of Firebase. I prefer Superbase, but you do have authentication. You do have databases. You do have machine learning stuff and whatever. I haven't dug right into what it supports from a Firebase kind of base feature set perspective, but already like where is it now? It asked me straight away for like an API key basically. But yeah, you can vibe code the heck out of it. I'm a bit of a hybrid. I mean, what's this? Annotate. I don't want to fix that.
And can you like take the code and bring it to your own editor and just take it from there? Churn?
So yeah,
oh my god!
See here that I've got like VS Code set up where I can just click into pages. This is built with Next, which I'm a big fan of. You can't vibe code from this window, unfortunately. Like you can ask it questions, and again, this is using 2.5. You can ask it questions, but you have to. It's more of an autocomplete thing. So it's vibe code or auto completion. There's not this hybrid approach. I'm very much someone who likes to I press @ in Windsurf or whatever, and I'll reference a file and I'll say do X, Y, and Z because this one, whatever it is, it's not working. But yeah, you can. I've forgotten where the download button is, but you can download. I mean, this is basically VS Code.
Yeah, I see.
So it's, but yeah,
you can
really quite a nice. Really quite a nice tool, but it's all using 2.5, and it's I wish I had more time, and again, makes a boring video when you've got to sit there and like.
So let's say you use Windsurf mostly, and my primary tool right now is Cursor. Do I have any reason to switch to this? Like realistically,
well, you have to wait for my video, but like I don't know. I'm not seeing a huge difference in either tool. We'll get into the Windsurf drops a little bit later on, but they've just released version 8. They all use the same model under the hood. I don't know whether they are doing anything on. I know. Maybe I can share Windsurf, but like Windsurf has its own model. That has its own base model, and it's like fast, it's free, it's called Cascade Base. But other than that, you're choosing from the same models as that that's available to be used inside a Cursor. So yeah, I'm struggling to see the differences. I bet some real hardcore people will tell you what the differences are, but from like I get my work done, I vibe out, I use AI assisted coding, all that kind of lot. So I mean.
The question that this brings to me is like how on earth is Windsurf valued at 3 billion and Cursor at 9, I guess? I'm asking this because if it's so easy for the user to churn, there is no garden walls. Like you literally just open your code with another tool. It's that simple.
Don't know. I mean, they're all forks of VS Code, and it begs the question like what it is. I think I don't know. What's the master plan? Who bought Cursor? You said
Cursor is
or
not
it's just being
bought. It's just
valuated?
valued, I believe, at 9
Okay,
billion.
fine.
I think.
Yeah.
I'm just probably paraphrasing Theo.
Mm,
Probably.
mm. Because then you have Klein as well, which is kind of a plugin that adds like not necessarily vibe coding. Obviously, you can vibe code, but like AI coding functionality to your VS Code. But again, I just fail to see what. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows? But we pick up windsurf in a sec. But like, yeah, I mean, just to wrap up on Gemini 2.5, really interesting model. For first-hand experience, I've had really good impressions of it. Give it a whirl. Select it from in Cursor to give it a whirl. Because what model are you using right now in Cursor?
Uh, Gemini stuff. I tried to use ChatGPT 3.
Mm-hmm.
Which 3 point
4.1,
whatever.
4.1 nano.
No, not that one. And it stuck quite a few times. It was like generating and generating for minutes. And I got even scared if it's like eating through my request amount. And it wasn't doing any edits. It wasn't doing anything. It was just basically like a box spinning and spinning. And it happened quite a few times. So I couldn't use it. I just used Gemini. And again, the code output, it ended up doing what I wanted, kind of. Very bad quality, because I just didn't know in which file, like where is the point where I say, okay, for these animations or whatever, I need to separate the files. I need a new file, or like, do I put everything in one file? Obviously, I'm not talking even about a big code base. It's just like a bunch of animations.
I don't know. I would definitely. I went to 4.1, which was a big coding, Nano, which is a big coding push on that one. But I didn't get great results from OpenAI. But let's see how we get on with them.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to Microsoft and the four-way. I've just sorted out my windows now, so I can easily switch between. I'm looking at as well at the chat. We have got some chat going on, agreeing with us and so forth. But you can see Grok, right?
In 1 second, yes.
Cool. Yeah. So basically, I mean, we talk about a four-way. So Microsoft want to host Grok, right?
Okay.
And on Azure, so their own servers and stuff like that. And I don't know whether you have been following the it's crazy. So obviously Elon Musk got kicked out of OpenAI. He claims to have named
the drama.
OpenAI. Yeah, and he wanted it to go for profit because they were going.
He wanted it to merge it with
actually,
Tesla.
It's kind of confusing. Did he?
Yeah. There are like leak emails where he pushed the board to actually essentially what he is doing right now with Grok and Twitter. He tried to merge it with Tesla, OpenAI with Tesla, and he didn't get his way with it, so they got separated, and he's now beefing with Sam Altman.
Well, yeah. I mean, they ended on pretty bad terms because I thought that Elon wanted to go to he wanted it to make it for profit, which is kind of weird because now he's very upset that they took a lot of not-for-profit benefits, so a lot of not-for-profit funding, and then said, oh, we're actually going to be for profit. And then Elon had big beef with that, but really he sounds like a bitter, like just whinging and whining that he got kicked off the OpenAI crew. So I don't know. And they've had their beef for quite a while, to be fair. But then you've got Azure were supporting or hosting OpenAI, and that was a way to get OpenAI enterprise stuff. So there was a kind of synergy there between those two. And now, and now, OpenAI obviously are going, looking at windsurf and sort of broadening all of their fingers in pies and all this sort of stuff. Now you've got Microsoft talking to Elon about hosting Grok on Azure. So it just sort of feels like there's this real, messy situation going on, like a messy relationship going on between the four of them.
Yeah.
Is it 3 or 4? Microsoft, OpenAI, Grok? I don't know. Elon? I don't know. They're all one
Elon.
and the same.
Yeah.
Just feels petty. Just feels
It
very
is.
petty.
It is. A lot of like, it feels like a lot of personal issues mixed with like literally billion-dollar companies. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, Satya saying like, we are good
Yeah.
on our end for our 100 billion. Well, Elon was saying there is no money, and yeah, it's just kind of a mess. It's fun to watch though.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And then finally, then like just a little, a little addendum to that is that so OpenAI have announced that they're basically going all in back onto the non-for-profit stuff, in that they have still, the not-for-profit still has a large majority sharehold over the for-profit arm or something. So I think they've downsized the for-profit arm. So I mean, that's something I don't necessarily want to get too much into, just because it's not I'm not so hot on it, but it's just, there's a lot of moving and shaking going on.
It is.
So also on the same sort
Apple
of world, Apple and Anthropic, which yeah, this is a real weird triangle. So obviously Anthropic are the competitors, let's say, of OpenAI. They're both kind of leading the pack right now, but I mean, Apple need the help, all the help they can get with their AI stuff. They're failing miserably. We've spoken at length about Siri and how terrible it is, but Anthropic are curious. In fact, let me get the news article sharing on my screen. No, that's not that one. Come on. They're moving it into Xcode. There we go. They're moving it into Xcode, so it's not like it's going to be, we're not going to see this in Siri very quickly, but it does open the doors for, yeah. So, but then what are they going to learn from this partnership, this integration? And all the rest of it, like, it is yet to be seen. But specifically, Claude Sonnet is going to be integrated into Xcode, so you could see a vibe coded version of Xcode floating around, which is also really kind of interesting. So there's a lot of partnerships happening right now. I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but I think all this cross pollination of all these companies might see good things, bad things come up out of them. It's yet to be seen.
Yeah, a lot of love triangles.
A lot of love triangles, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, it's making a comparison here. This is why I love Perplexity, man. It's so cool.
It looks so good. Stuff, so. Like their design team, I don't know. It looks just so clean.
I hate these icons. Though,
yeah, I saw your tweet.
They don't make any sense. I mean, they make. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so let's just wrap up on Windsurf, and then we'll get into the big finale, a bit of Figma. So Windsurf 8, which is a really interesting multi-phase drop. They did 3 drops, which primarily, and this is where I get sort of anxious about it, which primarily focused on enterprise, well, not specifically enterprise, but you can read between the lines on that, focused on teams. And I mean, there were some really interesting features that I liked, which was custom workflows, which are when you type like / or @ I forget which one it is, you can then set up just a workflow to follow that, whatever it is you type. I quite like that. Lots of MCP improvement, which was cool. You can have a knowledge base, and you can have deploys from right within Cursor. So a lot of like quite nice features, but I think most of them are reserved for enterprise and teams. So it's a and the kind of nail in the coffin for me was they have a plugin, a Cascade plugin for JetBrains. Now, if you don't know about JetBrains are a code editor like VS Code or whatever, but it's not open. It might be open source. I'm not too sure, but it's a paid for tool. And a lot of it kind of their forgotten what their Java one was, but they had a Java tool. I actually used WebStorm for about a year. I mean, I had a free license because I got given a free license. I actually really enjoyed it from a tool, but then as a tool, but you have to pay for it. It's like $60 to $100 for this paid for tool, and it's like, again, it sort of feels like it's tailored to those people who you pay for it, and it's somehow better. Whereas VS Code, I was an OG version user of Sublime and whatever. Point is Windsurf or Codium have a Cascade plugin for the JetBrains suite of tools and whatever, and they updated that. And that, for me, that simple act of just updating a random plugin for a tool. I don't know what the user base is for this tool, but it just sort of signaled a bit of like, I don't know, are they going to be the corporate, tool editor of choice? Are they going to start charging for features potentially? I don't know. It just sort of feels like there's this push to actually make significant money, or to be, again, just to be the corporate code editor of choice. I don't know. There was nothing particularly. I think they improved the UX or UI a little bit on Cursor. Let me. Should I share my screen on Cursor and
yeah, sure.
do this now because I've got like many screens open.
You're telling me you don't have like 5 monitors like me?
Mate, I have. I'm struggling actually. I've got one big monitor. So I mean, this is Jupyter Chat code. This is Windsurf.
This is how I can steal it, right?
Side. Yeah, exactly. You're going to find out real meaty information here, but you can select from all your models, and it looks exactly the same as any other VS Code because it is a VS Code fork. It's nothing too interesting, which, again, going back to that 3 billion valuation, it's like, I don't know what they're adding, to be honest.
I have no idea. But they could just copy it, right? Couldn't they just fork VS Code and just add a chat button? I don't know, like how. Okay, maybe it's not that simple, but I don't get it. Like 3 billion, I don't get it.
Well,
maybe they have the users.
I don't know. That's often why you buy it, but we're not spending money. I don't know no one's spending money on Windsurf. So yes, you got users, but we're not like, what, are they going to chuck ads in there or something? I don't know.
Until ChatGPT gives you the response, you'll see an ad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is the future. I hope no.
Watch this ad, you get a cheaper rate. Oh, yeah. Imagine that. Oh. So yeah, a lot of moving, a lot of shaking at the moment. I mean, as always, I'm super curious to see how this will be, how all these acquisitions, how all these mergers, how all these partnerships. It's the week of partnerships, I think, to be honest. That and good old Gemini 2.5 throwing its weight around in there. But definitely a week of mergers and acquisitions and partnerships for sure.
Yeah.
Saying that, should we dig into the exciting news of the century? Yeah, which I called over a year ago.
Figma sites. You see it live. Wait, you don't see it actually. People see it, but you don't, because I didn't share my screen for you. So let me.
Well, I mean, there's a few things. It's Figma sites. You've got Figma Draw, which is basically taking on what's the drawing app on the on the iPad or whatever. So there's a drawing, an artistry app, right?
Yeah, but it's mostly like Illustrator and Sketch, because I don't know if people know this, but before like Figma was a thing, there was Sketch, and Sketch was like, and still they are alive. They are actually good. They're actually good, but the issue is that they are limited to Mac. I don't know if they have a proper web like version. They have an app, and they never took off. But Figma did, and what Sketch had proper illustrations. Well, Figma
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Sketch has like much better editing capabilities than Figma, and Figma has been notoriously like really bad with it. Like the pencil, like the pen tool in Figma was so basic, but now not anymore. So that is the Figma draw, but
it's a separate app.
No, it's inside of, so in Figma. No, inside of Figma. So if we just add a new design, if we start a new design document, whatever, design file, you see this is a new one. It's in my drafts. And here we have these 3 icons instead of 2. Previously we had design and dev mode. Now we have draw mode. So in draw, it's lagging.
They're like personas inside of Affinity, like.
So I can draw.
Ooh,
and
look at that.
Yeah, I'm an artist, right?
With your mouse, presumably.
Yeah, and you can do a lot. I haven't explored this, to be completely clear. But I've seen stuff on Twitter, like people are going crazy with this, because just like in Illustrator, like Adobe Illustrator, in Adobe Illustrator you can take a shape and you can like multiply it, and you can do like you can draw stuff on a path, and then you can like add those shapes on top of each other, or like rotate them, or like create a kind of like a flower, like, you know, the logo of OpenAI. You can make that in Illustrator very simply. It's kind of like programmatically, you have one shape and then you just make it to repeat. You could not do any of those things in Figma whatsoever, but now you can. And even the joints of, what's it called, like the nodes that you have when you draw, you can like take some of them. Yeah, you can take those and actually like, I can select a bunch of them.
I was going to say, is it vector, which presumably is, but what? How does that work? Do you then export it? Like, is this aimed for web, or is it aimed for like?
This is an SVG, like
print.
You can. Good question, but like you can do whatever you want with it, because I can export this as this is the same Figma environment. That's the point. I'm not in a new environment. I can come to Figma design, have here, you know, a web page, and then have this next to it, and then just use it in the web page as a SVG. Now, speaking of a web page, we can take this, whatever design that we have. Let me see what we have here. We can take that. Let me show this one first, and take it here and copy it and basically start building a website. So what you see right now is not Figma design. This is Figma sites. They are very similar looking, but the first thing that you see here, like this side, like toolbox essentially that you see, sidebar, then you see the web pages here. So what do we have here? Let's have a look. This is the pages. We get back to this, but here we have these elements. I have no freaking idea why they are animating this, because it's lagging the shit out of my browser. But
there's a lot of lagging on many different areas.
Yeah, yeah. It's not just for you guys.
Well,
crazy. It's not for you guys like on stream. It's just even the hover is not instant. Anyway, so you can add some pre-made stuff. You can add embeds like Google Maps, YouTube, See this? URL or HTML. I'll show you this in a second. Obviously, you have
just
search.
To be clear, this is a separate app.
Yeah,
this is a separate experience. It's not like Draw.
Yeah, it is a separate experience, but you can, let me show you actually. Let me bring.
So how do you get your designs into this then?
You can copy or just design here. So what I was showing so far was my browser. This is the Figma app that I'm showing here. And in the Figma app, you see this one has this icon. So we have multiple tabs inside of the same app, the same Figma app. One of them is design, the other one is sites, right? This is the Figma sites, but I'll take this one out because I want to show a few things here quickly that I think are very interesting. So settings, I press settings, it takes a while to load. Like it's really laggy.
Beta.
Yeah. Have you seen the settings? Have you seen the settings on Framer? It's instant. That's like, I want to make a video on things that Framer got right. And one of those is like the UI is snappy, really snappy. Anyway, so here you have this general tab. What's interesting here, you can add a social sharing image, an open graph image for all of your website, not just a specific page, just site-wide, you can set it. Webflow, I want this. Then we have custom code. Then we have a few settings here. It feels very empty. We have the domain that you can connect. I cannot change it. I could, either I'm dumb or this is like very beta. I could not find a way to change this.
You're done with it. Yeah.
So, yeah. And we have for each page, obviously we have like separate like settings. You can set the language of each page, open graph, whatever. Now let's go back to pages. Let me, do this with the layers here. So we have the pages, we have the layers. What do we have here? You can add a section, a frame, a frame, just it's like a design frame, very simple. Or you can add a web page. So you see now this is, I cannot draw it. It's just like something to click. I click it and there is a new page. That's how we do a new page. And if I want to change it.
There's a different breakpoints within the web page then.
Yeah, so you see, I just named it contact. This is now /contact. And this is the primarily breakpoint. If I need a new breakpoint, I can do this. I can do mobile, or I can do custom, like just 100. Well, actually this, yeah, whatever. We just call it 100. And now this is the smallest breakpoint. What's interesting, I can drag this and look what happens if it gets bigger than the other one. It snaps here. So it
jumps over. Yeah.
Yeah, it jumps over. But what I need to test a little bit more is the primary one doesn't get jumped. So it seems like that we could actually do mobile first design type of thing. I don't know. This is something to test.
Yeah.
And another cool thing is, you see, I'm drawing a rectangle here, and it is position absolute by default. Welcome to, I don't know, 2010, whatever.
I think designers want that though. They want that.
Yeah.
They want to feel like they can put it down. And I from an idea standpoint, I don't mind the absolute stuff. Framer does it as well,
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Like, it is what it is. What is interesting, look, like, yeah, it is what it is. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. So you see, when I change this, the thumbnail here changes. I love this. This is just so nice. The page changes. Anyway, so let's go and check a few things here. So I was just playing around with this. Obviously, if I change the text here, it changes across all breakpoints. But what should happen if I change the color of this text here? Like, we are on the tablet. If I change it from black to orange, what should happen? it should cascade down, right? It doesn't.
Yeah. That's annoying.
I don't know why they chose this exactly, like specific. I don't know. I was showing this to a few other developers, like Webflow developers, and they were saying like, normally for something like this, you would use a Figma component so that it would automatically change. I'm not sure about this. If I do this brand strategy, no, it doesn't cascade. It doesn't cascade at all. But some other things cascade. For example, here we have this layout that is horizontal. If we change it to vertical, it cascades. So the color didn't, but the layout did. Now, another like interesting thing is what happens if I click the delete key on my keyboard here. If I do it, this is gone, but nothing shifts because it seems like everything is just absolute. This thing is gone, but it's not like deleted. It's just set to hidden. So
interesting.
It's a mix of like dev and design. But now the most interesting part, like what everybody was so angry about, is this is what we have. Actually, this is what I changed it to. So let's go back to Figma, back to files. Let's go to templates. And here, these are templates provided by Figma themselves. So if I click on this and then preview it, then check the headings, there is absolutely zero heading. And I have no idea why they haven't added any heading. So the first thought was that accessibility is not a thing. You cannot do any headings whatsoever. And this is one of the many issues that there are. How do you feel about, let me just click something
divs.
Here. Divs.
How do I feel about divs? I love divs.
You love divs. So this is the div maze that we have for this footer. I would say at least like 4 divs are extra, like not needed, at least 4. Another thing is, this should be a list, right? It's not a list. Now the question is, well, they forgot about it or whatever, but can you do it? So if we come here and if we click on any element, we can actually see there is an accessibility settings here, and we can click that and do either alt text or tag. And for tag, depending on what you have there, you can change it. So right now I thought I was clicking on the brand strategy, but it seems like I actually clicked on the frame. So I just see
the frame.
Yeah, only these tags. So the basic ones, not everything. But if I click on the text and go to accessibility tag again, here you see I have the heading tags. But Figma did not use these for any of their templates whatsoever. So every template that they put out there for us to look at is like just div blocks, nothing else. I don't know why. So yeah, these are a few things. There are, a bunch of other things I'm like playing around with, because how should navigation work? So navigation is essentially just different component variations that you mix them with one another. But that brings something so interesting, and that is interactions, something that I truly love. And interactions, if we come here, we see we have a bunch of interactions. And my first, like my initial, okay, I zoomed and I broke it doesn't zoom properly. Okay. So yeah, let's go to another one. So interactions, let me click on an element, interactions, and add an interactions. We have change to, we have back scroll conditional. We can do conditional interactions in Figma. And this change to, that is pretty interesting, because I can have a trigger that is on click, while hovering, while pressing, mouse enter, mouse leave. So a lot of options, way more than Webflow, right? And this can change.
By the way,
this can change whatever component you have to a different variation. So you have a component set, right? You can change, like, make an interaction that changes these like different variations on a certain trigger. And to all of this, you can add condition, if else. I mean, this is pretty cool. This is like,
it's pretty cool. I can't immediately think of a use case for this sort of thing. Can you?
Yeah, like for interact, like conditionals, 100%. Like the variables, like you can set an animation to happen if the user does something. So you can tie something that the user does to a variable. So if the number changes to that, and then do that animation, and if it's past that, or if it's like less, do that animation. So you do it with condition. With the biggest one, the change one, the first one, change to, hell yeah, this is like you can have so many combinations of your component set variations, basically animate to one another. But this brings an issue, because Framer has this. With Framer, you animate components into one another, not components into one another, like variations of the same component, you animate them into one another. And the issue with that is it doesn't really work with, for example, I've seen, like, I didn't do it myself, but I've seen somebody trying to do UI, like complex UI animation, and it didn't work. We couldn't get it done, because you cannot have like just because some of these are auto animations. You cannot have like very complex animations and say things just fade out. With Webflow, you can like very precisely choose things within your component and say move out or like shrink down. You cannot do it with Framer. And here you have just a bunch of things. Some of them are very simple, like cursor, like a custom cursor is very simple. But yeah, there are some others that are, I would say, pretty complex, and I want to play around with these. I do. But the examples that they are showing are insanely bad. I have no idea why they are showing these bad examples, because the sliders are not working properly. So many things are not working properly. I don't know, it's because the app doesn't work properly or whatever that is. With this interaction panel, I can imagine like much more interesting things to be built, but they are not showing those. Let me show you one last thing, which brings us to actually this point, this item. This is Figma Make, and this is the vibe coding tool. So it's getting a bit like complex with what is a separate tool in Figma and what is not. Make lives, at least it seems like, inside of Figma sites. It's a tab. And you click this, you open a window, and you can chat with AI to build your component. You can paste your design into it, and it will do it based on your design as much as AI does today. What's really, really cool to me is that you can actually bring that to your website. You see this option here? It's not available yet, but in the not far future, you build your entire website with Figma. The simple stuff, you just build them with whatever you have. For the more complex stuff, you can literally vibe code it and put that component inside. And this is what I think like every site builder will go after. Like, I'm pretty sure Webflow is, I don't have any insider information on this, but I'm sure this is also what they will be doing. vibe code a Webflow component, add it to Webflow. What would be really cool to add also like UI to it, like allow your code to interact with the Webflow UI. In this case, Figma actually said that they are allowing this. So developers can build something with Make, or like you can just prompt it and then expose the code to the UI and then just control it from the UI.
So just to be clear, you can't use Make right now. Make is not.
No.
They've announced it, but it's all grayed out. You can't do any sort of vibe coding on there.
Nothing. No, just Figma
Vibe
sites.
designing,
Just
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Same goes for the CMS.
I mean, it's. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to rest too much on the beta thing, but it is a beta. I mean, I'm more interested in the business, like why this exists. To me, this feels so rushed.
Yeah.
Like as in, like nothing was prepared. You're right. The code is terrible. I've seen examples where the hover animations, because you were showing me all the nice animations there and that you can select. They're all achieved through JavaScript. A hover animation is achieved through JavaScript, which is just preposterous. And to click a link, the link was that the href I saw on Kevin Powell's video is that the href was stored on a div that you clicked, and it would look for the div and then navigate to the href on the div. Like, you get the basics done first, and but again, this feels like so rushed, and I think it was Theo that brought up the product manager or designer or whatever. She's only been working there since January, and it's like, when did they what out of this release, and when did they decide to do it? And like I say it right, I'm gonna keep repeating this now. You've got one chance, and if you fuck it up, then people are gonna be like, I'm not gonna use it. But the biggest question is the convoluted nature of like, who are they targeting, and what and why are they bringing these tools to the table? Like, it just feels like a rushed mess, to be honest.
It is very rushed. Like, even the templates, they are just so like so many bugs how do you put a slider in a template that you showcase as your like best work, like the first one that shows up, and the slider does not work? It just does not work. It's like
people are going to dig around. Like, I know they're a design tool, but they've got to have developers working for Figma. I think, they've got to have developers. They've got to have talked to developers and whatever. They've got Figma, you have too much money. And, the irony in all this is that you politely told Lovable to quit using dev mode, and then you completely ripped off their user interface. You completely ripped off what Lovable basically is, and you've done a worse job at it. And it just doesn't make sense coming from such a large company to just fluff a launch like this so much. I made my video over a year ago now, and it was primed to be done very well, but somehow one or many aspects of this whole thing was totally rushed. I think maybe sites was something they've had for a while, because it's going to take a while, but like, they should have run those templates through web developer, web designer. They're dealing with like Figma isn't, I don't know, we've spoken about this last week, but like, Figma isn't that well known, although it is huge. I don't know what the go-to tool is for sort of like, as I say, enterprise, but they've got a lot of professional eyes on them who are going to choose a tool that is suitable for professional work. They're not a hobbyist tool. They've made that very clear. They're not a hobbyist tool. I don't know. I'm very passionate about this, but they do seem to have fluffed this up massively, and
they just have $1 billion from Adobe, so they don't have a lot of money to right? They just got last year from Adobe.
What was the other AI thing that they released? I'm sure they released a vibe coding thing, but didn't they release some other, like Make and Buzz? I think I had down.
They did add Buzz as well. No, Buzz is not AI. Buzz,
What's Buzz?
I do have access to it.
Oh.
Buzz is basically what's it called? Canva. You know Canva? Like every design. So
okay.
Canva is very simple.
But it's still AI generated though, isn't it? It's still a brand asset creation tool through AI.
I didn't pick that up as being like AI. Maybe I don't know. I played around with it, but just for a minute. I do have access to it. Yeah. I even have like I can open it up. But
create and share on-brand assets immediately. I'm just on the landing page right now. Digital ads, one pages. So you create your brand assets, brand templates. Yeah, you might be right. It might not be.
So if you check here, we have a bunch of templates. So yeah, this looks like awfully like Canva to me. Look,
Canva.
Yeah. So you have templates for Instagram story. You just add this template. Oh, interesting. So I can. Oh wow. This is this is like for dummies or like I don't want to call marketers dummies, but it's for people who want something beautiful, but they don't want to mess around with a design tool. They don't want to take a pen and I don't know, like move things the way designers do. They want it in a simple mode. But it seems like we have a design mode. Oh, so if I click design mode, by default, it was a marketer. It's a marketing or whatever mode. If I click design mode, then it's essentially Figma. It's just like normal Figma. It looks like it. And here you have these assets. Oh, here we can have a grid view of every asset that I have. Can I add like a new template? Oh, yeah. So very much like Canva. Edit content. You can bulk create, by the way. This is the cool part. Like you go to AI and you tell AI to generate you a list of 1,000 items for your whatever marketing.
That's what I was saying.
And then you
go to generate images.
Yeah, and then ChatGPT instead of 1,000 will give you 200, and it will gaslight you into thinking that is 1,000. It happened to me. Refused to generate as many as I wanted. But then you can upload that CSV file, and that is pretty cool, actually.
So with this whole release, Figma seemed to be putting people out of work while simultaneously trying to keep them in. Like this, how many different they've kind of gone the Webflow approach, although Webflow have kind of done it quite well, in that they are appealing to so many different user groups right now. You've got the marketers, you've got the designers, potentially you've got the developers in here. I'm yet to be seen sort of thing. I just don't know what their plan is for all this.
Who's losing their job? I don't see that actually. Like with Figma, like
they trying to kick developers out, aren't they?
well, as a I'm trying to become this design engineer. This is like what I'm trying to become. I want to do design and also development, web design engineer. So if I
pick a side.
No, web design engineer, that's my title. Then I think, okay, so designers can do like this design, but they cannot do the more complex stuff, especially when it comes like to complex animations. So I could actually go to Figma Make and make a component that is very like cool, and I can either sell that component or make it available, or like I don't know if there is a marketplace coming, but that is what I would think of, or plugins.
But you know who else can go to Figma Make?
A designer.
Founders and CEOs. No,
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
not a like a founder or
I
CEO can
see.
go like, well, why don't I just
But it's the same.
AI this?
It's the same question with Lovable. I actually had a call with a potential client last week. It was actually 1.5 weeks ago. They did use Webflow AI, and they couldn't like get it to what they want. And I bet if they would use Lovable AI, they could not even get even as close as like what they got with Webflow AI. Because with Webflow AI, it's much more constrained and nicer. Even with that much amount of constraint, they couldn't like get something. They didn't want something complex. They wanted something clean and nice, get it together, responsive, just get it done and then ship it. They couldn't. And I bet like marketers or like founders won't come and start prompting. It's all about time. It's all about time versus complexity. So how much of a complex thing can you build in a specific amount of time? And if you are a founder, you want to leverage your whatever like leverage you have to use your time to do something at scale.
Leverage your
and
leverage.
Leverage your leverage and then give the work to somebody else. So instead of waiting 2 weeks for a design, now you can push for 1 week or 1 day. And instead of waiting for a month of development, you can push for 1 week. But I don't see founders doing it themselves, because I'm building tools, right? I'm trying to build tools around these things for the community to sell, right? To make money. So in that sense, I'm a founder. I don't sit and like right now as we speak, one of my developers, he's building my dashboard. I could sit and do it myself, but I'm better off being here, talk to the camera, talk to you, maybe, put the words out, do some there's so many things that I can do. So I don't think the jobs are taken.
But you will get founders. You will get founders though who are tight on money, who are very hands-on. Like there will be founders who try and put their hand to try and this. So
yeah.
I don't know. There's just a lot of conflicting ideas here for me.
So to put all of this together, like as a thought about AI taking jobs. I think AI is not taking as many jobs as people are right now scared that AI is going to take, unless you are unwilling to change even a bit. What jobs has AI actually right now has taken? Not really that many, if people are even slightly adopting. The only job that I can think of is stock photography. That thing is gone. That was never a job, but that was something that student used to do. I did it. I even made $10 out of it. But that is a thing of past. But if you just leverage AI, just use any tool for whatever that you do, I don't think your job is gone. You just need to, you work with with my team, I tell them, use AI. I even have an AI, just like Jupyter thing. I got something for myself that uses, the API. Open Web UI. Open
Why
Web
are you using
UI.
Jupyter Chat? I'll give you a discount.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted something on my domain because it sounded cool, right? I tried it, and so all I'm saying is what I want as a founder, as a somebody who has a team. I want my people to leverage AI. I don't want to replace them with AI, but as I'm hiring, I'm actually really looking into people who can leverage AI. I've had so many interviews with people saying, how long will this take you? And they give me a month. And I'm like, this does not take a month today. That is my issue with right now hiring people, not being able to leverage AI. So, I'm I think that is seriously what is hurting people. AI is not taking their job. It's just that they are not using AI. to do their job faster.
I always say AI is not replacing jobs. People who use AI are replacing.
It's a
jobs.
tool,
And that's ultimately what it is.
Yeah,
it's a tool. It's a tool, and you can use it in very. You can use it in very light touch ways. Like I think I would surprise people how you can use AI. It doesn't need to be the thing that encapsulates everything that you're doing, or completely be the everything that you write needs to be AI. AI could just be spell check at the very least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, well. We'll wrap it up there because we are a news show. We're not going to get into so much of the debates of the ethics of AI. So that was really cool. All I wanted to say actually was thanks for tuning in, but also I'm really keen to get some guests on and share in the news of AI of the week and just have their perspectives. So if you are watching this and you're keen to be on the show, get in contact with me, and we'll consider having you on the show if that's all right with you, Kabaza.
Yeah, of course. Like we would love to have you guys.
So, you have to figure it out technically.
It's actually I just need to duplicate. OBS, man.
More streams.
Yeah. So
cool.
what videos do you have so people can like look, and check them out?
We'll get
like
some heart.
Do you have any plans for
chat? So, what coming up?
Yeah, coming up videos.
Lots of. So I just released one today about Firebase Studio using 2.5. Next week I've got one up. Is it the base coding one? Base file. I've got lots of like setting up environments and things like that coming up. I'm just recording all the time now.
I like the technical ones.
And so using Bolt and things like this. So but all this week I've just been responding to news. It's just been news all this week. So I haven't taken a day off really from recording. I'm just quickly going through.
I feel the same.
Because I want to tell you next week's video, but I have a feeling it'll get replaced by another video because it's going that way. Vibe coding setup in Cursor and Windsor. So look forward to that.
Cool. I have 2 videos in draft, but I don't think I release any of them because I'm gonna go and work on a proper review of Figma sites. I'm just gonna play around with it, just like I showed here. Show around the UI, maybe even potentially compare it to other things. Maybe I can build something with interactions. If I build something, I can share it with you and you can rate my code or the code that is produced with Figma.
Rate your AI generated code.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Cheers for tuning in, everyone. We will see you soon. We're getting more love on the chat. I love that. That's cool. Great stuff. Right. See you soon.